मेरी सैड चीज़ ये है कि मुझे थेरेपी कभी पसंद नहीं आई बिकॉज आई नेवर फाउंड द राइट थेरेपिस्ट.
अब मैं यहाँ से कहाँ जाऊँ? लाइक you are part of that session, you've broken down and सिसक के रो रहे हो. Where do you pick that up and go?
Yeah. And I'm happy that I don't have a partner but a therapist.
Where to find a good therapist?
Exactly.
You have to come. Like this is a good
That's
brand
the plugin.
plugin.
Every Gen Z to just keep a check on your coffee shots. Right? The amount of information, scrolling, conversation you're having on that, and if they sort it out, then it's going to be one of the best generations to date.
Maybe they'll evolve into mature love after some time, which a lot of my generation couldn't do. So hopefully they will do their thing and then get into mature love after a point of time. Fingers crossed.
They just go to ChatGPT because they know it's going to validate them, which is very risky and dangerous, and we don't even realize that.
वानिका, मेरे अंदर का मर्द भी तेरे से बहुत चिढ़ रहा है, या फिर मेरे अंदर की औरत को तेरे को बहुत प्यार हो रहा है.
मैं बोलना नहीं चाह रही थी वो.
And my parents were like, yeah, these people, they are all spoiled because of TV and movies and everything is spoiling them. And I'm like, oh, spoiled generation.
कम नहीं है. दोनों की अपनी अपनी बहुत इम्पोर्टेंस है टू लाइक जस्ट हैव लाइक अ फुल सेल्फ है.
Thank you.
यात्रीगण पहले अपना ऑक्सीजन मास्क लगाएं, फिर दूसरों की सहायता करने की कोशिश करें.
Meet my women. My lovely women.
And I'm here to steal the spotlight from you now.
Lovely to meet you, man.
Please. Hi. Yeah, we are rolling. Few simple things before we start. This is going to be a very open, honest conversation. We want to be as true, as unfiltered as we can. The entire reason why we want to do this kind of a conversation is because we believe that mental health still is a conversation which is a taboo. We can't still talk openly about it. A lot of young people who are going through things, they don't have the vocab for it. They don't know how to communicate about this thing. So we want to create a space where they can communicate. We want to create a world where mental health isn't a taboo anymore. And we thought one of the good things to do is like get people who talk about it openly right now, get together them in one space and have a conversation. We are all here to learn from each other. We want to know your thoughts, your opinions. If you feel a question is making you uncomfortable, you don't want to answer it, you have the right to just say, I don't want to answer this question, and we are good. If you want to pass, you can. If you want to ask anything again, or if you want to know more about from someone, you can always do that. So this is how it is. The way I want to start this roundtable is something very simple. I don't want to introduce all of you. I want you to introduce yourself. But with a matter of fact, like for example, if you have someone loved, okay? So if you have a cat, or if you have a dog, or if you have a partner, how will that person introduce you as a human? I want you to think for a minute, take a bit. So I can introduce first and then you can go ahead. So I'm going to take the person that I love the most is my mom. And the way she would introduce me is like, Yash is one of the most notorious kids, but he has his heart in the right place. At times he doesn't know what he is doing, but somehow he lands up where he has to. So that's how she would introduce me. So if you had to be introduced by someone who loves you, how would they introduce you?
The person that I like is, a person that I love is my daughter. She would introduce me as a mom who would rather explain about concepts than sit and play with her, and who is really funny and can make her laugh every time.
That's nice.
So I am my dad's daughter, and what he always calls me, ये झांसी की रानी है, ये कहीं भी झंडे गाड़ के आ जाएगी. So I will introduce myself as that.
Again, I'm my dad's daughter, and I think you would just describe me as somebody who just goes for anything and everything, does not think about the consequences of getting into anything productive too much, just wants to give everything a try, and somebody who just loves to love people. Yeah.
जैसा आपने कहा, मेरी बिल्ली. Because I'm spending a lot of time with her. She's a kitten. And I think she would say कि यार ये दीदी महसूस बहुत ज़्यादा करती है. She feels too deeply. And she's somebody who gives me food on time, but खुद शायद time से खाना नहीं खाती है. तो yeah.
Okay.
For me, I would say touch wood. There are a lot of people who love me. I'm very grateful for that. And if I have to think how they would describe me, I think if I'm in somebody's life and I love and care for them, I'm one of the most protective person that I am. So anybody who loves me would call me fiercely protective and caring. And sometimes my love and protection comes out with a lot of love and pampering, and sometimes it comes with a danda.
Yeah.
Both. Yeah.
Like when you said danda, I could remember my dad, and he's like, हाँ मतलब वो पीटते भी थे but प्यार भी करते थे. It was such a confusing thing at one point of time as growing up. I'm like, Dad, what are you trying to say to me? Like I can't understand. Like can you please come on a real consequence? Like tell me कि मेरे साथ क्या हो रहा है करके. Like a very fond memory, like I had done something really stupid in my school. I had gotten bad marks or something, and my dad had whacked me one. And back then it was normal, right? So मेरे को झापड़ मिलती. And then he felt so bad that he started crying, and he's like, I'm sorry that I hit you. And I'm like, Dad, like this is so confusing for me. Like I don't know, should I be crying? Should I be consoling you? Like what is the role and dynamic that we are playing? But when we look back on this thing, right, a lot of these things stems in childhood. Like whenever I have gone to therapy, right, a lot of my conversations go to a trigger point that comes from childhood. How did you all get introduced to therapy, or why? What's your take on mental health and therapy looks like?
I think for me, just like most of the random ignorant men in the country, I was also one. And I also think all of this is nonsense and none of it makes sense. And if you wake up early and if you work hard, everything will be sorted. And then I joined the army, and in the army also we don't care about mental health. So I also didn't. And then unfortunately in 2017, my career ended because of an injury. And then my life changed because my whole life fell apart. And then I realized that there was a time in my life where I didn't want to live anymore. And after that, I stopped smiling. There was no point of living. I was an overperformer. I was a very fun, humorous guy, but I stopped doing anything. And for me, I didn't know what was happening to me because there was no point to look forward to. And then my friend suggested that I think you should seek therapy. And then I went, met my therapist, and then I was diagnosed with a few things. I diagnosed with depression, PTSD, anxiety, and all of that. That's how I got introduced to therapy. Because as much of an extrovert guy I was, I reached a point wherein I had so many things to express, but I didn't know how to because it was out of syllabus for me. And nor did I have people to talk to. And it became a very isolated journey. And especially, I think for me, and I think men have it a little more because of this. As a man, I didn't get a lot of space to talk about it because I'm supposed to just deal with myself. And then I would hear the classic response from a lot of people, oh, you're a soldier, no, you have to figure it out. And because in my life I had figured out a lot of things by myself, people had this perception, oh, Ronit, you have to figure it out. But it didn't help. So after a point, I got introduced to therapy, and one of the best decisions, like one of the best things that happened to my life.
मेरी साथ चीज़ ये है कि मुझे थेरेपी कभी पसंद नहीं आई because I never found the right therapist. Like for example, one of the times मेरी एक therapist थी जो she was helping me navigate through a very rough breakup. तो उसने कहा कि I want to talk to your ex-boyfriend. And I was like surprising, but maybe she does. And then she started consulting him as well. And now we had a shared therapist. But problematic चीज़ वहाँ पे थी because मुझे लगा चलो reconcile करने की couple therapy हो रही है हमारी ex-boyfriend के साथ. लेकिन after a point there came a session where she told me what he feels about me and what he had said about me. And that was very alarming. तो एक वो वाला जो पूरा ट्रस्ट मेरा ब्रेक हुआ था उनके साथ, दैट इज समथिंग दैट आई कैरीड फॉर अ लॉन्गर पीरियड ऑफ टाइम एंड आई वाज ऑलवेज वेरी स्कैर्ड टू गो टू अ थेरेपिस्ट बिकॉज आई फेल्ट लाइक यार ये तो ना बहुत ही ज़्यादा डिफ़िकल्ट है. मतलब एक इंसान को हर बार जाके बताओ कि मेरे बचपन में क्या ट्रॉमा हुआ था और उसके बाद आफ्टर अ पॉइंट रियलाइज़ करो कि शी इज़ नॉट अ फिट फॉर मी. सो दैट पूरा एंटायर चीज़ इज़ सो कंज्यूमिंग, आई वुड से, that I was scared, but recently I found one good therapist. And I'm happy that I don't have a partner but a therapist.
Finding a good therapist is a lot more difficult in today's day and time. Like I have struggled finding. So like finding therapists who are inclusive, finding therapists who understand what you think. Like what you said is a thing that I have heard most often. Like they do it like a job, like it's like a tick mark, they want to do it, but finding a good one is really difficult. And if you don't know where to find a good therapist, this is where you have to come. Like this is a good
That's
brand
the plugin.
That's the plugin for
आप
it.
मानोगे कि there was such a, जैसे मेरा इतना weird experience रहा ना, there was this one therapist that I went to, she charged me and then in the first session she diagnosed कि तुमको PTSD है. मैंने कहा पहले सेशन में आपको पता कैसे लगा? Because कैसे पता लगेगा ना? And then she was like, you have severe PTSD, and I was like, बताना आप मुझे ये, लेकिन 3-4 सेशन के बाद, ठीक है, पहले सेशन में इतना ट्रस्ट बना नहीं है कि मैं आपकी बात मान लूं।
और मैं भरोसा भी कर पाऊँ आपके साथ। एक तो पहले ट्रस्ट इश्यूज लेके आ रही हो और ऊपर से आप मुझे बता रहे हो कि ये सब ऐसा पहले
There are a lot of therapists, and I have this opinion which a lot of therapists and coaches don't like. 90% of the therapists and coaches are not fit to be therapists and coaches.
Yes.
And they need a lot of professional and personal coaching and mentoring. But a lot of times they skip their own healing and they become coaches and therapists and they just try to project their stuff on other people. And it's a sad reality of most of the healing space right now.
And the worst part is, once I was in one of the therapy session before Full Circle exists, I was having an emotional breakdown. I was crying, and you know what did she do? She just said, "Your time's up. We'll continue again." अब मैं यहाँ से कहाँ जाऊँ? Like, you know, you are part of that session. You've broken down and सिसक के रो रहे हो. Where do you pick that up and go?
Yeah.
अगले
मैंने
सेशन के स्टार्टिंग में रोना चालू करना,
अरे
कंटिन्यू
नहीं
करना
पता चला बोली. And then I was like, I don't want to go for therapy because it's not making me feel lighter. So generally, whenever I had a very productive day, I didn't want to message my therapist or I don't want to schedule an appointment because that session does not make me feel good once I come back home. So I think, yeah, we really need the right people to navigate our emotions because you're very vulnerable, and one bad experience does not want you to go through that path again. Then you don't want to do therapy. Then maybe you'll just work out or maybe you'll do something else but not choose that route.
No, like very funnily, recently I heard this conversation, like one of a friend who was going for therapy again before joining the Full Circle. Like she went for therapy, and in the third session, right, the person said like, here are some pills which are homeopathic pills, and you please start taking them, and they will make you feel better. And these are $1,000 extra per session. And in my head, I'm like, how is homeopathic medicine been given by a therapist and how are they going to make her feel better? And she had no explanation what those pills are. She did, no, just take them. Like, मैं बता रही हूँ ना, तो तुम ले लो. And she ran away from that therapist. Like, I can't just take something because someone's telling me. Like, now that I'm thinking about it, like, if you had to describe one red flag into a therapist, what would that therapist, like a red flag, look like in a coach or a therapist that we should tell people that avoid this? If you see this kind of a behavior in a therapist, this is not the right one for you.
I also think therapists, I push everyone to go to people who are dealing with science-backed evidence therapy. Let's not mix alternate healing with therapy. If you're going to a therapist and then in between of the session, if she wants to pick up a tarot card, you're in a wrong place maybe. Either you're going for tarot card reading, either you're going to a manifestation coach, either you're going to an astrologer. You can't have their recipe with a therapist. That's a red flag.
A lot of times I feel like a lot of people who claim that they're therapists do not have degrees or qualifications for it, and a lot of people have just found their way through to be named as a therapist now by doing some sort of courses online or something, and I think that just does not make sense. Like, you're not qualified to be a therapist, and I think that's a real big red flag. Yeah.
Somebody commenting, like जैसे मैंने एक quote लिखा था that right men don't tell you who you are, they ask who you want to be. So I think it's same with therapist. Right therapists don't tell you who you are or like give diagnosis or comment about how you have lived your life. They ask you right questions जिससे आप खुद figure out करते हो. तो वो channel बनते हैं, है ना? और they have to be those channels ताकि फिर eventually आप खुद से वो journey continue कर सको. तो it's like Hinge.
Yeah.
Hinge है ना? Designed to be deleted.
Right.
So like therapy to not take therapy.
That's such a great line.
इन्होंने अभी पहले बताया था हमें.
So the credit goes to you there.
I can think of so many red flags because I engage with so many. When we say therapist, I'm talking about the whole therapist community, healer, the whole community. I can think of 3 right now. I think first, the moment any professional starts giving you advice and telling you what you need to do, it's done. The process is done. The job of a coach, a facilitator, is to empower you. Like, my job is to just ask you questions and let you be. So that's one. Second is, if there's a professional, let's not call them professional, if there's a person who's creating a lot of dependability on them, a dependence on them, it's a red flag. Like, I keep telling people, like, people when come to my thing and they're like, Ron, can we book a package, 8 sessions? I'm like, my goal is that as soon as you don't see me, because that's the whole point, you have to walk by yourself. So the dependency. And third is, I feel anyone who's never been a student can never be a good teacher, which means if a coach or a therapist or a healer, if they do not have mentors or if they don't have people to get feedback from, they can never be a good facilitator, because they don't know how to learn. If you don't know how to learn, how will you teach somebody else how to learn from you? And I see most of the people who do not have mentors, most of their mentors are now ChatGPT, which is sad.
Yeah, look, and that's so true, right? Like, one of the biggest thing that I used to be worried about is like, I go and tell my therapist so much. Where does my therapist go? Like, how does she deal with all of the information that she have? And in another session, I genuinely asked, I'm like, Pooja, like, how do you deal with all of this? Like, every day you are meeting 10 people who are just coming and vomiting their emotions. And she's like, yeah, Shiv, and I have therapists. Like, I'm like, but like, you two are therapists. Now, how will you also have a therapist? She's like, but that's how it works. It's a cycle. Like, even I have to go and express somewhere. What, again, one of the trends that I've seen in young people is, right, like, now we have these labels, we have these words that are used very easily in our dating language. Do you think all these labels, etc., that come from therapy, which are coming from the social media course, you will see hundreds of people telling like, oh, you're in the right relationship, 1, 2, 3 is what you need to do. How has social media impacted love, dating, relationships, and all of it is connected to therapy? What is your take on social media?
So whenever we have discussions on relationships, nowadays everybody understands, let's say, anxious attachment or avoidant attachment, and they fixate on that label and they think that they are that all the time, not really realizing that they can be anxiously attached in one dynamic and they can be avoidant in another.
True.
So then we need to talk about pursuer, distancer, or other aspects that can give them clarity. But then when they fixate on those labels, I think that becomes a problem.
I think the labels are becoming more easily available on social media nowadays. Like, earlier na vocab ki kami thi. Like, we didn't know what it is called. Now we have that available so easily that we just keep on throwing around. Like, half my friends say like, I have OCD, I'm like, नहीं है. ये आपको लगता है करके, like, OCD is diagnosed. Like, you can't just say like, I want things clean versus I have OCD is a very big difference, right? And we are starting to use those labels lightly. Any other take on social media?
I have a take that people will not like. I think with great power comes great responsibility. I think social media and the spread of knowledge is one of the most incredible things that have happened, because the kind of access, the kind of support we've been able to create is beautiful. Like, you create life, business, relationship, all of it through social media. But then comes the dark side of it as well. If you do not use it wisely, it goes in somewhere else. Another problem is there's no metric to define what wisely is. So people create their own metric, and that's where it gets a little tricky. For me personally, I've seen that, because one day social media would feel that it can empower you, it can pull you from the darkest corners of you, and the other day that's the reason why it'll bring you down and make you feel like the most insignificant person ever.
Yeah.
The main issue is that people do not see the entire picture. They just come, like, they read a concept, maybe 2 lines about it, and then they like to relate to themselves or to the people around them. The point is, you need to know it thoroughly. You can't just read a post and be like, yeah, I relate to this and that's why I'm like this, or my partner's like that. You just can't label somebody just based on a quote or a post that you saw online. You need to know what it is fully.
Yeah. And what I realize is like the algorithm is also trained in such a manner that you start seeing things that you want to see. So like funnily, like me and my wife were having a fight, right? And then suddenly my algorithm is starting to show me like, oh, this is how a nice wife should be. And in my instinctively I wanted to press the send button. I'm like, but why am I sending this to her? Like, she's a nice wife. Once in a while I have a fight. But then your algo also starts showing you exactly what you see. And that's a scary position for us to be at. One of the things that we spoke about, right, is like ChatGPT coming into the picture, right? Like before we met also, we were talking about like, I was in a school a few days back and I was talking to a few people and then I was like, now we don't need therapists because ChatGPT hai na. So like every time I have a problem, I just go it and ChatGPT and ChatGPT tells me like there's nothing wrong and you should go ahead with it. How can we protect the next generation coming from this whole ChatGPT version of therapy?
I use it. I use ChatGPT version of therapist sometimes when I really need it because आपके पास access होता नहीं है. And then there is an app. Basically मेरे लिए ना वो एक system है जहाँ पर I basically kind of put my emotions down. मैं अपना voice note on करती हूँ and there is somebody to give me an instant reply. क्योंकि वो humanly possible नहीं है, या फिर मेरे को उसके बारे में अभी मुझे पता लगा है कि there is a number that I can call. But usually नहीं होता है, and there is something that helps me just put it out. I don't see that as therapy. It is a place where I'm not finding my answers but putting down my questions.
Right.
So that is there, and I feel like it is not entirely bad. मतलब आप therapy के लिए वहाँ नहीं जा सकते हो, लेकिन there are few things that it can be like a diary or it can be like, मतलब I don't find it entirely bad. मैंने तो recently ChatGPT के साथ collaborate भी किया है. So I think it has really helped me, for example, है ना, not just in therapy, in a lot of places, but मतलब as humans you need to realize कि किस extent पे उसे use करना है और उसकी reality को कितना believe करना है, और कौन सी ऐसी चीज़ है जहाँ पर humans, मतलब आप human की presence को replace नहीं कर पाएंगे. जैसे कि recently in a festival what I did something, it was called a typewriter experience. तो मेरा idea बहुत simple था that somebody comes, shares how they have been recently feeling, और मैं उनको एक पर्सनलाइज्ड कविता लिख के दूंगी उसके बारे में. ठीक है, उस टाइम पे मुझे रियलाइज हुआ कि ना, विद द पावर ऑफ AI कमिंग इन, these human experiences have become deeper.
Yeah.
And it cannot be replaced. बट ये है कि हमें उस चीज़ की नॉलेज होनी चाहिए कि ये रिप्लेसेबल नहीं है. एंड इट इज़ ऑल्सो इम्पॉर्टेंट कि ये वाले जो एक्सपीरियंसेस हैं ना, ये भी थोड़े ईजिली अवेलेबल हो, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा होते रहें, ताकि पीपल नो दैट ऑफलाइन इज़ वेयर ट्रू लाइफ इज़. सो आई फील कि ये जैसे जैसे बढ़ेंगे ना, तो इनकी वैल्यू बढ़ती जाएगी. इट इज़ ऑल्सो लाइक इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन. जब इंडस्ट्रियल रेवोल्यूशन हुआ था तो कपड़े बहुत ज़्यादा बनने लग गए थे, तो लोगों को ऐसा लगता था कि यार अब जो हाथ से बने कपड़े हैं ना, वो एक टाइम के बाद एक्सटेंड हो जाएंगे. लेकिन ऐसा हुआ नहीं. उसने इस प्रोसेस को ईजी कर लिया, लेकिन जो हाथ से बने हुए कपड़े थे उनकी वैल्यू बढ़ गई. सो सिमिलरली इन डिजिटल रेवोल्यूशन, जो कंटेंट इतना ज़्यादा अवेलेबल है, उससे वो एक्सेसिबिलिटी बढ़ गई है, लेकिन जो ह्यूमन एक्सपीरियंसेस हैं उनकी वैल्यू बहुत ज़्यादा बढ़ी है. एंड दिस इज़ द टाइम पीपल विल रियलाइज अबाउट इट. बट ये साथ साथ बोला जाना ज़रूरी है, इसके बारे में है ना लोगों को बताना ज़रूरी है, और इनकी एक्सेसिबिलिटी को भी बढ़ाना ज़रूरी है. सो इफ़ बोथ इज़ हैपनिंग हैंड इन हैंड, और किसी तरीके से एक ब्रिज बन सकता है, देन इट इज़ फुली. इट इज़ नेवर दिस और दिस. It is going to be both together in a merged format.
No, I agree with what you're saying. Like all of us have collectively gone through this experience of COVID, right? And one of the key things that I learned from COVID is like having the notion of me, मेरे दोस्त के साथ नीचे आके चाय पीने की feeling. Because for that 1-2 years, right, that became a privilege. कि like a friend that I used to meet every single day, which I took taken for granted, I couldn't meet him. Like he used to stay like hardly 5 minutes walking from my house, but I couldn't meet him for that one chai, and which made me realize like how important it is to have that offline conversations, to have these places. And rarely do we find these places which are created for us. Like if having a safe space with your friend or even your partner is getting difficult day by day. What I want to know from you guys is like, what's your take of love as a concept changing, or relationship as a concept changing in these times and dynamics? Because now with access to speaking to emotions to a AI module, right? Do you think it's going to be more important for you to have a loved one and who you can share things with, or that importance is going to reduce, or that relationship with that loved one is also going to change?
I would like to input, and I wanted to connect because I differ a little bit on the AI point. I think of AI plus therapy as smoking a cigarette. When you're stressed and you smoke a cigarette, it feels good at that point, right? The principle that's happening is you take a deep breath. We've forgotten the principle and we fixate on the smoke, right? And that's the problem. And then nobody wants to solve it because this makes money. Right? And it's a whole system that put into place. I feel AI can be a great strategist, but it cannot be an emotional supporter because it's a yes man. Next is, if you read about the human evolution psychology, we only survive when we have somebody next to us to support in the time of crisis. What AI is doing is creating silos, wherein if somebody is overwhelmed, instead of talking to somebody else, they go to ChatGPT. This is how I'm feeling. This is what I need to reply, which is very dangerous because we're forgetting the art of being a mess in front of somebody else because AI will somehow navigate and help us. Do I think AI is evolving and giving good advice? Yes, it is. Sometimes I have discussed some things, or I have ran multiple case client studies with AI to cross confirm and check if I'm not missing or something. It's a great add-on, but sometimes you miss the whole point that an add-on is not your main plate. And
Right.
because there's no regulation to it, like for example, if I had to bring an ethical boundary, I would have a gatekeeper who will talk about, so on a scale of 1 to 10, till 40 we'll go in depth with the emotional cause. Beyond 40, no. And then we stop, no matter how much the thing is pressing. So that regulation is missing, and that's why it's dropping. So we can talk about how beautiful or ugly something is, but it depends on how we use it.
Yeah.
But then if I say that I can put a finger on you is that, oh, you are an adult and you should use it wisely, then you will blame me. No, you created the system, that we are enslaved by the system you've created. And it's all like pointing fingers at each other. At the end of the day, who's suffering and whose cognitive ability and emotional intelligence is reducing? The person who's suffering. Because now, instead of regulating, sitting with your emotion, like a lot of times I ask my clients, I have something to tell them. I'm like, no, let's just sit for 10 minutes. We don't want to do that because we live in the Blinkits and Instamarts for everything. We want a date on a swipe. We want on a food on our plate. We want therapy as well. So, for example, a lot of time, people in my community, I do workshops, and something they say is that, but Ron, what about SOS if I want to speak to you? Right? And a part of me wants to speak to, but I say no. If you feel like speaking to somebody, SOS, again, the SOS spectrum is so subjective. A lot of times people just feeling a little bit of anxiety call it as SOS.
Yeah.
And it becomes difficult for the professionals to hold that space, like, because there's so many people in place. Having that sort of practice and literature from both sides is very important. But I think we've created a system, and this is not just AI, this is overall, in coaching we call it the persecutor and the victim. And we love being on one side. Either we play the victim card and we blame the other person, or we become the persecutor where we become judgy about everything else, and we talk about how, oh, AI is the problem, therapy is the problem, coaches are the problem, human beings are the problem, right?
Yeah.
Or we play the victim, oh, you don't know what has happened with me. And nobody is willing to come to the center and accept the fact that I'm a great human being and I can be a piece of shit as well.
Yeah.
That's part of who I am. But I think all of us are trying to be on one side because, again, at the end, we feel like belonging. So I've seen this tendency there. When I disagreed with her point a little bit, I felt a little bit of resistance. Like, should I not? It's a podcast. Because we all want to feel like a group.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then you have to take that little uncomfortable thing and be like, it's okay, you know what? I'm going to share my opinion anyway, and it's going to be fine, right? So representing ourselves and taking that ownership as human beings, henceforth the system, I think that is needed a lot, like representing ourselves.
आई थिंक गैप बहुत बड़ा है, पता है. जैसे कि मेरा भाई अभी बिट्स गोवा में पढ़ता है, ही इज़ इन इंजीनियरिंग और सेकेंड ईयर में है. एंड इन द लास्ट 2 years around 15+ suicides have happened. And every time he talks to me about it, I feel anxious. I have made him talk to a lot of people, and the college is doing so much. उन्होंने काउंसलर्स रखे हैं, उन्होंने वो पूरा सिस्टम बनाया है. पर ना जो मैं जैसे बता रही थी ना कि जब हम पहली बार एक थेरेपिस्ट के पास जाते हैं, बिकॉज समटाइम्स आवर एक्सपीरियंस विद थेरेपी सो अनसेफ दैट अ लॉट ऑफ अस डोंट वांट टू गो बैक टू इट अगेन. सो वो जो चीज़ है ना, वो थोड़ी ज़रूरत है उसको सॉल्व करने की, बिकॉज ऑल ऑफ दीज किड्स हु आर इन कॉलेजेस, दे आर नॉट गोइंग टू द काउंसलर्स और आस्किंग फॉर हेल्प. दे आर टॉकिंग अमंगस्ट ईच अदर एंड देन पुटिंग ईच अदर डाउन, और समथिंग और द अदर इज हैपनिंग, एंड दैट इज लीडिंग टू समथिंग सो लाइक I don't know how to express it, because मतलब आपको पता है, it is so sad that my brother told me, and I was like कि तुम्हारे कॉलेज में 15 से ऊपर सुसाइड्स हुई हैं, तो why don't you take a stand, why don't you talk about it, it is a crisis and do something. अगर शायद दिल्ली यूनिवर्सिटी में होता ना, people would be on roads to talk about it, but they are not talking about it. So he said कि यार आपको पता है कॉलेज में ना किसी को फ़र्क ही नहीं पड़ता. बच्चे आपस में बोलते हैं कि यार 2 दिन बाद सुसाइड कर लेती ना तो शायद अपने फेस्ट हो जाता. एंड इट इज़ द रियलिटी इज़ सो सैड. एंड एक्सेसिबिलिटी टू थेरेपी कोचेज, ये इतना ज़्यादा दूर है ना टू द नीड दैट करंटली इज़ एग्जिस्टिंग इन इंडिया, इन द वर्ल्ड, बिकॉज मेंटल हेल्थ इतनी बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है. एंड द उससे भी बड़ी प्रॉब्लम ये है कि उसको एज अ प्रॉब्लम इतनी स्ट्रांगली देखा नहीं जा रहा है. तो देयर हैज टू बी an intersection of how it can be more accessible through technology, through humans. Something has to happen, because even when मतलब I've had worst experiences with therapists, है ना, जैसे मैं बता रही थी, I felt unsafe, and when you feel unsafe in a hospital, you want to go to the internet and एक बार के लिए गलत वो that feels safer. So either this system gets stronger, otherwise I want an intersection of both these things.
Right now we're talking about this here because we are aware about it, but the point is, even if those children are also aware that therapy exists, they just, because they think this is accessible and because it works on a mechanism of validation, you give anything to ChatGPT, it is going to validate you and make you feel like you're right. So when you have the same conversation with a friend and they say something that, hey, you're not right, automatically you're like, it's okay, I'll just talk to ChatGPT. So I think that's also a problem. And how it's also impacting relationships is that nowadays, irrespective of people having like bad experiences with therapists and other people, apart from that, I think just in general now, when people give a very normal and fair advice to people, just because they do not want to listen to that, they just go to ChatGPT because they know it's going to validate them, which is very risky and dangerous, and we don't even realize that, I think.
And that's why we're not having real conversations anymore.
Yep.
Like when you are at work, you ask me a question, how are you? Yeah, I'm okay. That's it. You've taken that I'm okay. We are not having conversations. We are not going deeper. You don't want to get, even in the name of boundaries, you don't want to get involved in other people's bhasad or whatever. First, friendship was very organic. I think we used to fight for each other. Even though the reason was wrong, we were there standing for each other. Everything has changed with these new terminologies coming into our relationships. कि no, I think I should not ask her right now. Maybe I'm stepping in. पहले हम नहीं सोचते थे ये सब. Even first relationships were so free flowing. We didn't have to be, नहीं इसका red flag क्या होगा? Is he going to be judgment? Narcissist trait? ये सब नहीं पता था.
अभी तो मतलब like there are colors of like red, beige, green,
Forest.
forest और क्या क्या है, like it's so difficult to keep up with the trend also, right? And as Gen Z is on the table, do you have any take on how Gen Z dating is working around right now?
I have a positive take on it. I think they are very clear on what they don't want.
Are they?
I have a analogy for it actually. I think of Gen Z dating as drinking my coffee before a workout. So for people who don't know, like coffee espresso shot is a very good pre-workout because it like will jolt you up. I think the amount of information and access and conversation Gen Z has is a coffee shot. It's great if you want to have a good workout. But now if you keep drinking 5 coffee shots every single day, your nervous system will burn out. And that's what happening with Gen Z dating as well, is that you have so much information, so much access, so many options that you burn out. That you either get into analysis paralysis or you experiment way too much and at the end you're just exhausted and you don't want to do it anymore. So again, being mindful, I think I first used to think that, you know, Gen Zs, there's no hope for it and all that. But I see people who are doing it well, as long as they have a supportive friend circle, some sort of safety net, like, or their parents are involved, or their teachers are good, or they're in a good circle. If that part is sorted, then I see the amount of awareness Gen Z have, like, they're in a very good path. Like, I recently got to know about these concept of bhajan clubbings and community events, and it's so beautiful. And I saw that the consumption of alcohol has dropped by a huge margin.
Huge amount.
These are very good sign. So I see that it's going in a positive direction because they're understanding how important community is. But at the same time, I would just suggest every Gen Z to just keep a check on your coffee shots. Right? The amount of information, scrolling, conversation you're having on that. And if they sort it out, then it's going to be one of the best generations to date.
Yeah.
I think a lot of breakups have contributed to my maturing and growing. I think so. Gen Zs will have that very soon and probably mature very quickly. Maybe.
They're amazing at boundary setting, and that's what I see even in relationships. Like what you said, right? Like when I hear about these new dating terms that are coming in, like 9 to 7 dating or like college boyfriends, etc. Like they have these nice terms. Like they have like this time asking like this is how much emotional bandwidth I have that I can give to you. Do not expect more or less from me. But it's so clear. Like if somewhere they have found this clarity. And I don't know how Gen Alpha's dating lifestyle is going to look like. That's going to be even more evolved, I believe. Other than the generation, right, one thing that I've seen commonly happening is this gender disparity. Like, and this is slightly a controversial take that I want to ask. Do you think it's easier for men or women to have their emotions more regulated? Because both the genders keep on saying this thing, like, women can express their emotions better and men keep on complaining that we can't. But at the end, I think so we both as genders struggle somewhere. According to you, who has it more easy?
यार मेरी एक दोस्त के साथ मेरी रिसेंटली कॉन्वर्सेशन हो रही थी, तो उसने ऐसा बोला कि यार जो मेरे मेल फ्रेंड्स हैं ना, मतलब उनके साथ जब मैं हैंग आउट करती हूँ ना, तो मतलब बढ़िया होता है, अच्छा होता है, लेकिन जब मैं अपनी फीमेल फ्रेंड्स के साथ हैंग आउट करती हूँ ना, तो मेरा ड्रेसअप करने का मन करता है क्योंकि वो ड्रेसअप करके आएंगी। मेरा थोड़ा मेच्योरली बात करने का मन करता है क्योंकि विद देम आई फील लाइक आई एम ट्राइंग टू बी अ बेटर पर्सन। और मेल फ्रेंड्स के साथ मैं ईज आउट हो जाती हूँ कि मेरा मन करता है कि अगर मुझे थोड़ा मतलब मस्ती में लेवल वो करना है वो भी चलेगा। मैं बोलना नहीं चाह रही थी वो। बट या सो शी वॉज टेलिंग मी हाउ हर फीमेल फ्रेंडशिप्स आर बेसिकली हेल्पिंग हर इवॉल्व एज अ बेटर पर्सन, बिकॉज उनके साथ कीप अप करने के लिए मुझे बेटर बनना पड़ेगा। और लड़कों के साथ आप जैसे हो वैसे हो वो भी चलेगा। तो आई थिंक कोई एक सही नहीं है, कोई एक गलत नहीं है, या फिर कोई एक ज़्यादा नहीं है, एक कम नहीं है। दोनों की अपनी अपनी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंस है टू लाइक जस्ट हैव लाइक अ फुल थिंग, अ फुल सर्कल। एक ईज की भी ज़रूरत है और एक बेटर की भी ज़रूरत है। सो आई थिंक हैविंग मेल फ्रेंड्स एंड फीमेल फ्रेंड्स इक्वल क्वांटिटीज, distributed quantities, whatever, but having them like as friends and then having like a equal ratio or matlab whatever you like.
And I feel till the time we keep talking about this whole men, women and all of that, it's not going to work. I think if we start using more energy language, I think, you know, like one of my friends, Meher, she's also a coach, she gave me this term. Sometimes she legit tell this thing कि it's like कि वानिका मेरे अंदर का मर्द भी तेरे से बहुत चिढ़ रहा है, या फिर मेरे अंदर की औरत को तेरे को बहुत प्यार हो रहा है, बिकॉज हमारे अंदर एक मर्द औरत दोनों है।
Correct.
So if we start using that thing, यार मेरे अंदर का तो अभी like sometimes when I celebrate with some of my female friends on a certain something that is very feminine and all that, I'm in a very feminine zone. I'm like, yeah, man, you go, right? And sometimes with my guy, I'm like, भाई दुनिया फोड़ देंगे। I have both sides to it, and if we learn how to embrace both and accept both, then it'll become much easier.
I know, true. Like I remember what Zakir Khan had said in one of the interviews he had, and he's like कि जब हम ये लेंस छोड़ देना कि एक आदमी है या औरत है, और एक जब इंसान को हम इंसान की नज़र से देखने लग जाएंगे ना, काफ़ी चीज़ें अपने आप ही सॉल्व हो जाएगी। एंड यू नो दैट्स वेयर वी लैक ऑल्सो, लाइक कि इन आवर हेड like these labels are so ingrained, like these labels are so pointed, and we start like knowingly unknowingly giving those labels and handing those out. And after a lot of efforts, right, even if I want to not give it, in my head somewhere ना वो judgment आ ही जाता है. And Nikhil and I used to talk, and we used to come back to this point, is like कि we judge, or we are afraid of people judging us because half the time we are judging someone in our own head कि like कि हम judgment करें, इसलिए हमको डर लगता है कि कोई और आके हमको judge करेगा. How do we come to a place, or how do we come to a situation where we can find a balance? Because all, like from a lot of conversation that we have spoken about, balance is what is missing out in today's day and world. Let that be offline versus online, let that be gender, let that be mental health versus physical health. Finding a balance in day-to-day life is starting to get trickier. Like there is, on one end, there is a conversation about hustle culture, there's a conversation about slow life. Everything are getting, like our opinions are getting polarized as we go day by day. How do we try to come to a central place where we start agreeing or disagreeing, but like find a balance between doing things in life?
I think we need to first stop chasing that. Whatever we try to do, we need to excel in that. Not required. We don't always have to be the best in everything we do. At least give an attempt. That chase and that competition within yourself has to first stop. And that gives you more opportunity, time to even try different things. Instead of just, no, if I want to be a career woman, I will not be a good mom. Stop saying that in your head. You know, people keep on saying, नहीं, अगर ऑफिस में रहोगी तो बच्चा कब संभालोगी, या बच्चा संभालोगी, you can't start a business. I think we need to decide where do we want to put our energy, and you know, just be kinder to ourselves whenever we're doing these things. So stop the chase. I think you'll get the balance.
Fair.
Yeah, I wanted to ask this question to Ronak. So in couples, just if you have to say 5 things, if you are getting into a lot of fights or anger management where you start accusing each other, like, you know, bro, I think you need help, you go to that level that there's something wrong in your mental state, you really go below the belt. So how do you diffuse situation? I know one mantra कि you start counting till 10, लेकिन जब बहुत बड़ा झगड़ा होता है वो गिनती भूल जाते हैं. You don't think about how to diffuse then because you are about proving yourself right. So can you help us with few ways how fights? I mean, झगड़े करने का तरीका आना चाहिए. I think there is no problem in the झगड़ा. जो हम तरीका गलत लेते हैं, how can we change that?
Problem है और the fact that ये सवाल है is part of the problem as well because हमें तभी solution जानना होता है जब चीजें फट रही होती हैं. You prepare in peace so that you bleed less in war. All the time we'll talk about how we need to reflect, sit by ourselves, build our emotional vocabulary, learn how to fight well, have conversations about a fight after the fight's done. Oh, last time we fought, we realized this came up, or I used this word, or you said this, you got triggered. Having those conversations as part of your dates, having those conversations as part of your daily conversation as well. That, when practiced enough, then when you actually fight, then you're able to do it better.
Yeah.
Versus at that point, we get so triggered. Yes, there are certain tips, count to 10, breathe, step back, and all of that. Like what he said. I also know some people in the middle of the fight. If I have dated one person in my life years ago. If in the fight I'll tell her this, she'll ask me to take this and shove it somewhere. So it doesn't work. It's people to people. How much you prepare in the background. I think a couple is as strong as the work they do in the background when they're at peace.
Yeah.
But जब हम peace में होते हैं फिर हमको बस लवी डवी करना होता है. फिर हम बस घूम रहे बह रहे हैं. फिर वो बहते बहते हम बह जाते हैं बाहर.
Yeah.
So that amount of work, it's like brushing your teeth. Doesn't matter you're having a good day or a bad day, you need to brush your teeth, which means a couple needs to practice. I mean, you can beat this word, but I think a couple needs to know how to love well, fight well. And all of that needs communication, not just at that point, but before and after as well.
Yeah.
And then that in the heat moment will become much better. Because all these other these is the hacks, count to 10 and all of that. These are some ways it can help, but they're not the solution.
I'd like to add a couple of points. If the person is not aware of what's happening inside, these fights are just going to keep happening. For example, one big awareness that every woman should have is about her cycles.
Yeah.
And I don't think a mental health conversation will be complete without going there.
Yeah.
How she is a very different person during each phase of her menstrual cycle. So during the follicular phase, she is excited, happy, thrilled to exist. She is again super high and maybe even horny and again topmost euphoric during her ovulation. She is pretty much an okay individual to be with during the first half of her luteal phase and kind of a horrible person to be with in the second half of her luteal phase. And then there comes periods when she would rather prefer hibernation and to be left alone.
Yeah.
If she is off track of what is going on inside her body, she will make everybody's lives hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then blame it on PMS. Yeah. So, yes, she has to have that awareness of what's happening inside her. And every given day of the month, she should be able to tell which day of what phase she is in.
I think partners need to just download those apps so they're also tracking the
No.
cycle
So the thing is, these apps didn't exist
before.
before, right? So how did people track it, right? So if you get to a point where your circadian rhythm and your infradian rhythm can come together and then you track your cycles really well, many a times women in my community see that they bleed during full moon or new moon. Yeah. Now, yeah, not like all the time, but yeah, most of the time they can see it sinking somewhere or the other. Now, let's say, for example, she is bleeding during full moon and she's ovulating during new moon. A man can keep track of that. That's what probably happened before apps came. Okay, during full moon, I can approach her because it's ovulation. During new moon, let me stay away. Right? So, because this is happening once every 14-15 days. Yeah. So, like women keeping track of their moon cycles and man being aware that he is a 24-hour hormonal cycle person. Every day he's going through changes doesn't mean he doesn't have mood swings and ups and downs and stuff like that. He needs to be aware of what's going on in his body also. But Speaking of women and mental health, I think one non-negotiable is to understand your cycle and keep track of it,
Yeah.
and design your life in such a way that this doesn't get affected. If this is all over the place, you have terrible cramps, it's happening once in a blue moon, you're struggling, suffering, there is something off, and you can bring it back to track if you can deal with certain other aspects. So I think one thing every woman needs to um, you know set it right is her cycles.
Yeah.
And I feel a lot of times women are becoming their own enemies.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a superpower, right? Like it's a mechanism through which you can give birth, which is the strongest thing a human being can do.
So I am in an unlearning phase of my life because I feel कि फॉर मोस्ट ऑफ माई लाइफ, जैसे मेरी कविता भी है जिसमें ये कहती हूँ कि मैंने बहुत लंबे वक्त तक एक बेटा बनने की कोशिश की है, बिकॉज आई थॉट दैट वाज द वे टू बी पावरफुल, दैट वाज द वे आई कुड कंट्रीब्यूट और बी डिफरेंट और लाइक बी, मतलब जस्ट बी समवन, बिकॉज जिस परिवार से मैं आती हूँ वहाँ पे मैंने हर लड़की को, है ना, हर औरत को कहीं ना कहीं कॉम्प्रोमाइज करते हुए देखा है. I have not seen them talking about things. जैसे the first time I talked about periods in a video online, मेरी मम्मी ने बर्तन तोड़ दिए थे घर के, और मेरे पापा ने मुझे मतलब ऐसा बोला था कि अगर ये वीडियो तूने उस प्लेटफॉर्म को बोल के हटवाई नहीं तो हम एकदम ही मतलब तुमसे बात नहीं करेंगे. तो that is where I come from, and now I'm in a new world, so I'm धीरे धीरे unlearning. बट एवरी टाइम आई गो बैक टू दैट रियलिटी, तो वो बहुत ही अलग वर्ल्ड है. एंड समटाइम्स आई फील लाइक कि काश मैं उन लोगों को अपने पास ला सकूं, है ना, या फिर उनको उस चीज़ के बारे में एजुकेट कर पाऊं, बट इट इज़ वेरी डिफिकल्ट बिकॉज कोशिश कोशिश कर रही हूँ, बट वो बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग रूट्स है. एंड आई थिंक नाउ आई एम लर्निंग टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट फेमिनाइन एनर्जी इज एक्चुअली पावरफुल. मतलब आई हैव PCOS, एंड वन ऑफ द रीजंस, मतलब जो किसी टेस्ट में नहीं निकल कर आया, किसी ने नहीं बताया, इट्स बिकॉज मैंने बहुत लंबे वक्त तक अपनी फेमिनाइन एनर्जी को दबाने की कोशिश की, एंड आई ट्राइड टू बी लाइक अ मैन, जबकि मुझे बस इम्ब्रेस करना था अपना वुमनहुड. सो अनलर्निंग है, और उसमें कुछ सही गलत या फिर टाइम पीरियड नहीं है कि इतने टाइम पीरियड में हो जाएगा. यू जस्ट डू इट एवरी डे, एंड देन लाइक वंस यू फील दैट यू हैव बिकम, जब आपकी कॉन्वर्जेशन में वो निकलने लग जाएगा, आपकी छोटी छोटी चीज़ों में वो निकलने लग जाएगा. एंड सम डेज आई फील वेरी गिल्टी कि मैं उस तरीके से अपनी फेमिनिटी को वो नहीं कर इम्ब्रेस नहीं कर पा रही, बिकॉज देयर इज सो मच टू अनलर्न, बट आई थिंक इट्स अ प्रोसेस और हो जाएगा.
I have a couple of reflections on that because we are on it's my favorite subject, by the way. Part one is all of us need a motivation or push to do things, right? So coming from that background, yeah, facing resistance there is what is making you a good poet or a storyteller.
Yeah.
Right? So some of the best divorce counselors I know are divorced. They know how the journey has been. So we all need a certain push. For example, I have a friend of mine who has been gentle parented during our generation. Yeah, late 80s. His mom, dad, the way they treated him, a bunch of us have always felt very jealous. Oh wow! I mean, friends could find it nice to go to that house. That's or vacations means he yearns to go home. Versus me, I want to stay in my hostel, right? So that has been how it is. And you know what he asked, seeing my content after many years? Why are you talking about all these things? Isn't this the way parenting has to be done? What is so special about what you're, doing? Not in a bad way, of course, because he does not know the other side,
Yeah.
right? So in many ways, that is a push, I would say. And the second part that again is a reflection is I have been very much like you in my masculine mode for the longest period in my life. And what opened femininity to me was motherhood. So many a times we need to go through certain things in our life. It has to be a life experience for us to actually, get certain doors and windows opened. And once it's opened, it's opened.
The moment we stop chasing that social approval, which I think exists for a lot of us for a long time, I think that something happened for me also, that I just felt like because my father's into business and everything, I always felt that he would have really liked if both of his kids were men or boys. And that is why for a long time I was like, I really want to get into things, into business and all of these things, and want to be the son for him, honestly. And not because I wanted to be that, but because I felt like that approval, that social approval will come. But I think the moment I left that, I was like, no, he actually really likes me for the daughter that I am for him. And the moment I left that, I could strike a balance between both, where I know when I'm working or wherever needed, I have to use my masculine energy. And when I'm around my people, or even in work when it's needed, I know where to put that feminine. Whether it's work, relationship, it just gets very easy when you stop seeking that approval from your parents, your co-founders, or just people around.
But at least we are blessed. We get to choose this. I just want to give an experience. I have this friend who had a very bad divorce, and now she's a single mother. And she was very successful, but she's so used to now being the doer that she's lost her femininity. She does not like dressing up right now, or because she's only in that chase of just providing because she's been alone. And whenever she tried to be in a relationship, also in that relationship, also she was the doer. So, how do you change that, especially for people going through a very difficult phase, maybe in a marriage or single mothers or somebody who's going through a divorce? How do you change that perspective that they need to also focus on what they really want instead of just continuing that chase of providing?
If I want to lose weight, and if you send me a gym, it'll send me to a gym where there are fat people eating sweets. You give me the best gym and I will not lose weight. So again, I've seen, for example, a lot of people come to me at my retreats. And we've had like the most tomboyish women. The final day of the retreat, they come in saris and they go back home and send us a picture on the group wherein they took a scissor and cut off all their t-shirts and jeans. Right? We've had men who like showed up and manned up and owned their partners and be like, fuck, I want to take care of you. I'm going to be with you and all that stuff. We've had that moments. The environment becomes very important. For example, if I want to teach a boy how to become a man, I need him to expose it to men, right? Let him be around them. If I want to show a woman how to be a beautiful feminine woman, like there's sometimes, like you'll not believe, like I know certain profiles, certain content creators I want to follow. And sometimes I feed my clients or I'll have my friends and I'm like, babe, go watch this lady's content and you'll see how to become a Shakti, right? Because I can inspire women till a certain point. After a point, it's beyond my capacity because I'm not a woman. And I can never have that lived experience and connection with her. Only a woman can then take her forward. I can only like take her 10 steps. The next 90, the woman can take. Same goes with men as well. So while you're trying to support them, expose them to other people who are doing it and then get support from them. But at the end of the day, it's going to be whether they sit, reflect, and do the things they need to do. If they don't do it, then even universe will not be able to hit them. And I feel everybody has a choice, no matter what. You can make a choice. You might not like the consequences, but you can make a choice. And as long as you're alive and breathing, you have the ability to make a choice. And if you're not making a choice, it's on you.
Also, because of social media, whatever is happening right now, expectations around relationships, couple goals, red flag, green flag, then going to therapy together before getting married. What is your take on all of this? Like, live-in relationship tak sab theek tha. Right now, people are actually going for counseling, couple therapy, because they want to get married and yet make sure that while they're working on the foundation of their relationship, they need navigation or assistance through a therapist or somebody who can understand both sides. So, what is your take on modern relationships right now?
I think my kitten is teaching me relationships. सच में genuinely. Like for example, मैं उसको पकड़ के अपने पास लेकर आऊंगी, वो नहीं आएगी, नहीं बैठेगी. बाउंड्रीज फिर उसके बाद वो अपने आप आके मेरी बाउंड्री क्रॉस करेगी. ठीक है, मेरे ऊपर चढ़ के बैठेगी, लेकिन मुझे समझना पड़ेगा वो उतना ही समझती है. So I think every day है ना, being a parent to my kittens, which a lot of people think is, मतलब आपको पता है इतना खूबसूरत है ना वो एहसास, मतलब genuinely, क्योंकि ना अब उसकी कल तबीयत खराब हो गई थी, तो वो अंदर किचन में जाके बैठ गई और मैं उसके पास बैठी हूँ कि आजा आजा, नहीं आई. And then she just went away from me. And then I was like, okay. And she looked at me. And then she came back again and sat on my side. So every day I think I'm learning about relationships, about myself. जैसे कि मुझे ये चीज़ भी समझ आई कि भाई मैं इसको दवाई दे रही हूँ टाइम से, है ना, लेकिन खुद नहीं खा रही। सो नाउ आई फिक्स टाइम्स फॉर बोथ ऑफ अस कि यार मैं ठीक रहूँगी तभी तो इसको दे पाऊँगी। तो आई थिंक पता नहीं अब मतलब मेरे को एक्चुअली अ लॉट ऑफ माय फ्रेंड्स थिंक कि मैंने किटन इसलिए पाली क्योंकि मेरा रीसेंट ब्रेकअप हुआ। सो दे थॉट कि क्या बोलते हैं उसको, हाँ, रिबाउंड या फिर वो जो प्रॉब्लम होती है कि आप ऐसे टाइम्स पे कुछ, हाँ, फिलिंग द वॉइड टाइप्स करते हो। लेकिन भाई मेरी तो आई थिंक आई एम लर्निंग एंड बिकमिंग अ बेटर पर्सन विद हर। सो इवन ही सेड
Why do you need a man if you have a cat?
नहीं नहीं मैन की अपनी है। हाँ, उसका नाम काशा है। तो अपेरेंटली चैट जीपीटी में दैट जापानीज माइथोलॉजी में एक कैट लाइक क्रीचर है जो लोगों को आफ्टर लाइफ में जाने में हेल्प करवाता है। सो दैट इज काशा, अ स्मॉल क्रीचर हु हैज सर्वाइव्ड द बिगनिंग। सो मेरी कैट की भी मम्मी और सारे जो बच्चे मतलब भाई बहन थे वो सब एक साथ इन एन एक्सीडेंट दे डाइड। सो शी वाज द ओनली kitten who survived. So she's just 3 months old and she's a reflection of who I am. She's underweight. I was underweight for most of my life. She likes certain things that I like. So it's just it's like now I understand pet parents. And I think like for example wildlife है ना, अभी recently I went to Gir forest to see lions और वहां पे 2 लोग बैठे हुए मुझे जंगल के बारे में बता रहे थे और मुझे लगा कि बाहर के वर्ल्ड के बारे में कितनी अच्छी चीजें जंगल से सीख सकते हो आप। सो आई थिंक नेचर हैज सो मेनी थिंग्स टू टीच अस अबाउट बीइंग ह्यूमन।
Yeah.
लाइक फॉर एग्जाम्पल पूरा समझना कि वो लॉयर लोगों की क्या पॉलिटिक्स चल रही है, मतलब इट इज क्रेजी एंड द वे वर्ड्स आर इट इज सो इंटरेस्टिंग। सो आई थिंक हम लोगों को ना लाइफ में फिगर आउट नहीं करना है, ठीक है, मतलब ऐसा होता है ना लाइफ में फिगर आउट करना है चीजों को, सही चीज करनी है, नहीं भाई, तुमको डिस्कवर करना है, गलत चीजें करो, क्यूरियस रहो। आई थिंक क्यूरियोसिटी इज किलिंग एंड पीपल वांट टू नो एवरीथिंग।
Yeah.
नहीं भाई, क्यों, तुमको कैसे पता लगेगा सब, तुम कौन हो, तुम थोड़ी हो चाय की
You are the brand ambassador of ChatGPT. You got the contract.
ChatGPT can sponsor us as well. Like we don't mind.
We will put a logo behind with full circle.
But yeah, I think it's like it's so beautiful. Life is beautiful, and in general, everything is so good. It's just we need to embrace being imperfect, not knowing things, and like just be on this path of discovery. Because life is not meant to be figured out. ये जो मोटिवेशनल स्पीकर्स बोलते हैं ना, ये तुम्हें पता होना चाहिए तुम्हारा एंड गोल क्या है तभी तुम वहां तक पहुंचोगे। थोड़ा बहुत पता होना चाहिए, ऐसी बात नहीं कि आप डायरेक्शन लेस जा रहे हो, लेकिन ऐसा भी नहीं कि सब पता ही हो और उस हिसाब से ही काम करना है, ठीक है। ऑन द जर्नी आपको बहुत कुछ, जैसे वो कह रही थी कितनी खूबसूरत बात है कि उनका उनका वो क्या आया था, एज नहीं आया था। हाँ तो जैसे उनका एज नहीं आया, सबका अलग अलग होता है एंड सबकी अलग अलग ट्रिगर पॉइंट्स होती है। बट या
So every breakup has a learning story.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure everyone has gone through a breakup here. Your breakup has got you a new perspective. Kasha has come into your life.
यस
Your breakup journey,
So many journeys.
breakups. One learning.
Until and unless you learn to love yourself, you will not be able to love somebody else or receive love from them.
Have you had a breakup?
Yeah. I think I just like the process of building things from scratch. So every time I've had a breakup, the first time I had it, I wrote a book. The second time I had it, I started a company. So I think I just like to then sit with myself and start building something from scratch.
Next time she wants to do a big project, she'll have.
You are the many people up in
But I think when you're not in a relationship, you're more productive.
It depends, I think.
That's my take. Again, he controversial.
Depends
I think
how you conduct it.
and like he said that a good partner or that union can actually take you to your highest level of spirituality or union with God, however you view it. I think it can take you to the highest level of every arena in your life, whether it's work, whether it's your relationship with yourself also, because it's just such a beautiful process of coming together, with someone and that person helping you to somehow be so capable in winning every arena and not clashing and not trying to be problematic with it. I don't know how to like put it in the right words, but I think the right partner can really take you to the law.
I read this thing and like the most simplest way to explain it. So Bulgarian horses, one Bulgarian horse can pull 10,000 kgs, right? But when you put two Bulgarian horses, they pull 34,000 kgs, just 14,000 extra than they could, and that's what I pitched it into. A good one, done right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's end this on last perspective. I'm gonna say 3 words, and what's your take? This is again when it comes to relationship. People keep on saying forgive, forget, and closure. What do these 3 words mean to you?
Forgive, forget, and closure, right? I think so. Closure is slightly overrated because I don't think so you get a closure ever. I think so every relationship that I've had in my past, even if it's close, but there is something that I knew I keep on learning from that particular relationship. So closure for me is like it's never closed. It's just there. It's just not in my eyesight. So it's there somewhere in the back, but the door is always open because some incident will happen which will take me back there and then I will remember something from that. Forgive is a very important thing in my life because I think so until unless I don't forgive, it's like that I have that hate and I'm consumed inside that. So forgiveness is very important for me and forget comes very naturally to me. I have a goldfish memory. So what I said today, I will not remember today. So I do not care about it.
I have a good memory. I don't forget anything. But I can choose to forget if the other person is doing the work and would want me to forget something. I can selectively maybe keep it in some compartment and not go there again. Closure, like he said, not always. You don't need it always. It's more for you than for the relationship.
Yeah.
Right. So if you are okay to let go and not know the full story, yeah, it's for some good, some learning, some lesson came your way. Good for that part of your life. You needed that person in your life to teach you certain things.
Yeah.
Then it's okay to not have closures. Forgiveness is very hard. It's it shouldn't be a goal. It just happens when you do your inner work. And for me, it has been like that. So I have been able to forgive so many people whom I thought I would never be able to forgive when I just worked on myself. So it's a beautiful feeling to have, to have forgiven others.
All these 3 words are not more for the other person, but they all come inwards to you.
True. I think for me, forgiveness is something that comes very naturally. And I love that. Because I think to navigate any relationship, it's very important. Even if, and I don't want to confuse it that if I forgive, I let people come into my life again. I think it's more for my own peace of mind and to cut ties, like soul ties and all sort of mental ties, physical ties with them and be like, oh, whatever's happened, happened. Coming to forget, again, I think I don't forget things, but I am okay with sometimes observing a new pattern. If I see, okay, this pattern's being changed, I can maybe put aside that experience or that bad memory I have and give this thing a chance. Closure, I think, is very subjective to people, and sometimes people think you need to experience it from the other person, but sometimes it's not needed from the other person. Then sometimes you just need it from within, and you actually have the answer from yourself and from within. So that's how I view it.
आई थिंक जो आपने बोला ना कि इट्स इनवर्ड, जैसे मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि एवरी टाइम अ बैड रिलेशनशिप हैज हैपेंड इन माय लाइफ, मुझे खुद से ज़्यादा गिल्ट रहा है, मतलब रिग्रेट रहा है चीज़ों का कि यार मैंने क्यों नहीं देखा ये पहले, मैं क्यों इतने टाइम तक ये झेल दिया, या फिर मैंने क्यों ओवर गिव किया इस रिलेशनशिप में. तो आई थिंक forgive for me is forgiving myself of being a certain way in the relationship, not being able, like wanting to believe something else, or not being, मतलब खुद को बचा नहीं पाने के लिए या फिर whatever, उसके लिए खुद को माफ करना, और then choosing to forget. मतलब मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि एक इंसान, like for example, I did not want to forget that time that I spent with my partner because they were 2 good years of my life जिसमें मैंने ग्रो किया. तो मुझे ऐसा लग रहा है कि मैं अगर उस मेमोरी को अपनी लाइफ से हटा दूंगी तो मेरे उस वर्जन का क्या होगा. सो आई थिंक forgetting all the negative parts and realizing that even if you delete नहीं हो जाएगा, वो हमेशा आपका हिस्सा रहेगा. You are just forgetting a narrative that you had built around it, that you have to forcibly forget या फिर सब खराब था, because there were things that you learned in between. And closure is a story that you stop telling yourself. कि यार, so I think it's more inward.
Yeah.
It's more about myself than it is about the other person. और वो ही है ना कि अगर खुद के साथ रिश्ता थोड़ा सही हो गया तो दूसरों के साथ हमेशा वो रिफ्लेक्ट करेगा. तो आई थिंक दैट अगला रिलेशनशिप पता नहीं क्या सिखाएगा. आई होप अगली बार शादी.
But I think most people largely covered it. 2020, May, I came up with this thing. I call it my pearl theory. Something that I found, it's a metaphor. I feel that everything that happened in your life, good or bad, are these pearls. Some big pearls, some small pearls, and all that. And there are parts of your heart. I would never forget something because they play a role in who I am, good or bad, and all of that. But it's very important that when we keep it, we keep it clean, because then that can rotten the other pearls as well. So it's very important that you take every pearl, you clean it up, you heal, you forgive, because it's important to cut those cords. You forgive yourself, and it's okay. वो भी गलती सीखना देखो. And then once it's shiny enough, once you're healed, once that doesn't bother you anymore, that's the closure, and then you place it back here. And just like that, you walk in the world with your big, beautiful heart, with these shiny pearls that you have. That doesn't make it access. You don't get access to this, because this is my pearl. But I would love to just walk with my pearls, and I love the Japanese concept of kintsugi, that my pearl is like, इतना चमकीला है because इतना साफ ही करा, और वो साफ इसलिए किया because किसी ने चोट पहुंचा दी है, गंदा हो गया, नहीं तो शायद मैं for granted लेके नहीं करता. Yeah, just keep shining it and keep. I don't believe you can. I also believe biologically, physiologically, nervous system, if something has happened with you, you can never forget it. It gets registered in your nervous system.
Yeah.
You get to choose what meaning and what emotion it derives. And that's the unique part that we do. It's just carry your pearls and be here.
Yes. Your previous question, no? This generation.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was doing at 21 and 25 and 30 and all. Seriously, man, I'm so hopeful for the next generation. I mean, too optimistic, huh? It's good. I love it. I love you guys. It's so nice.
Love you, bye.
I
I think it was very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Full circle moment. Full circle. Full circle.
And thank you to all the camera crew as well. Like
Yes.
without you guys, it wouldn't have been.
Which, see, I'm sure everyone here has got therapy.
Yeah.
It was a therapy session.
So thank you all.
Yeah.